Hello guys, it's your boy Genius out at the range today with the SD40 2.0. So let me explain the title before I say anything else of the deadness of the 40 S&W round. Do I want it to be dead? Do I think it's actually dead? Not really. Do I think that it is potentially dying? Probably. I think there's just a niche group of people out there that still buy them, a certain group of people that like them and will defend them because they own them. And listen, the first project gun I ever bought was the SD40 VE. Loved it, done a lot of work on it. I didn't know any better at the time. It was probably the most expensive gun outside of my Glock 17 that I had at that time in my life, right? And so, and then when I bought a PX4, I bought it in 40. I bought a Glock 22. I bought, let's see, the VP9. I believe HEK. I bought it in a 40. Everybody's like, why are you buying 40s, bro? Like all of my friends, like that's crazy, man. The ammo's expensive. It's not very readily available. The ballistics on a 9mm are just as good. Yada yada yada. And so I kind of got to looking into it, and I wasn't so sure that I agreed on the ballistics thing as far as maybe penetration, sure, faster, smaller round of the 9mm, maybe penetrating further. Okay, maybe. But then you started talking about knockdown power and stuff like that. And I had a lot of 40s, and as I mentioned in earlier videos I've done, I sold them all. And I've recently, in the past year, picked up a HEK, let's see, P30SK chambered in 40, and now of course I have this one. So, but again, I can go into 7 of the local gun stores that I go to today, right now, and it is very likely that they will not have a single box of 40 S&W on the shelf, a single box to purchase. And if they did, it's going to be $23, $24 for, a box of Lawman, or something similar, right? And as far as pistols are concerned, they'll have your budget ones like this one. They may have a Glock 22. That seems to be a pretty popular one, but it's just not very available. It's because people don't want them, right? So if demand is down, then why would they make it? Why would it not die? Okay, you go in the store, any gun store. I'm going into a gun store later today, if the Lord is willing, and I can assure you, out of the probably 700 pistols they have in this store, it's a very large store. I would say that there's probably not going to be 2 or 3 40s in there, right? And 70% of what they have in there pistol related is going to be 9mm carbines. I would say another 10-15% are going to be 10mm. Okay, there seems to be this rabidness about a 10mm. So the so why do I think then that the 40 and nobody's wanting to buy it, it's dying, all of this other stuff? Well, let's think about it for a minute. So when the 10mm round was first produced, I think it was FBI or something like that had it. Oh, it was too much for them. They weren't able to stay on target. Guns were, making them in polymer frames that basically was breaking, splitting open. They weren't made well enough. All kinds of things, right? So they really dumbed down the 10mm cartridge, like as far as it being like the, what is it, the SAAMI or S, I don't know, that whatever that is. The rating for what it originally was is nowhere near where it is now. People tell me that all the time when I do 10mm videos, like, oh man, won't you get some real stuff? I make full power stuff down in my basement and shoot the lug nuts out of a John Deere tractor tire at about 100 yards. Are you shooting that sissy stuff because you got them sissy wrists? Well, no, I'm shooting that because you ain't sending me none of the stuff you made in your basements. Basically what that boils down to. You can't really hardly get full powered 10mm. And let's face it, a lot of the pistols made today for 10mm probably wouldn't handle it anyway, or not for a length of extended length of time, right? So, but since they did dumb it down ballistically, it's fairly close to a 40 S&W, but hotter, right? So it's hotter, faster, ballistically, it penetrates more. And so I think what happened is the reason it died is because 10mm dumbed down got so close to the 40, and but a little better. So people started getting rabid about the 10 millimeter, kind of left the 40 in the, in just kind of left them in the dust, if you will. Again, it's just, I can't, I don't want it to die, but if I can't walk in the store and readily buy a 40 S&W and it costs me an arm and a leg to do it, then why would I, right? Because I can pick up most 10 millimeter now. I remember 5, 6, 7 years ago to buy a box of 10 millimeter was $7, $8 more, maybe more than a box of 40, right? Now it's almost equal. In fact, in some cases, depending on what brand you could get cheaper 10 millimeter, right? So that's kind of what has happened, I believe. And that's just my opinion. That may be completely wrong, but that's kind of what has happened. And I believe if I had this pistol here in a 10 millimeter, that it would probably recoil about the same. The recoil is pretty stiff on most 40s, especially the polymer frame ones. But I'm going to shoot this magazine. I'm going to quit yakking. This is the SD40 2.0, and this isn't the review necessarily on this gun. This is me yakking about a 40 cal being, quote unquote, dead. Again, it's not that I want it to be. It's not that I'm even said don't berate me about this thing. I'm trying to find out and learn with you guys why it is that the 40 seems to be unavailable in most gun stores that I go into, and no one really talks about them anymore. So let's check out the accuracy and recoil on this thing. I mean, standing here at about 13 yards, maybe 14, I mean, it's not bad. It's actually a really, really good group, you know, 14, 15 rounds. I don't know if I had 15 in there or not, but it's actually a really good group. And it knocked the support piece on my wood down there to keep me from hitting my wood, the little piece underneath my steel target. It just knocked it completely off. And so it's definitely hitting hard. It is a hard hitting round. Does it hit as hard as a 10 millimeter? Well, of course not, but it is a hard hitting round. So I'm starting to become, after, like I said, I sold all of my 10 millimeters, I'm starting to become a little bit more intrigued. I just want to open up a conversation about why it is that if it is not dying, because, of course, I say that and people get real rabid in the comment section, get real upset. So if it is not dying, then let's talk a little bit. Let's start to engage a conversation about why it is that it's more expensive, it's not available, and to everyone except for you guys that like the 40 cal, it's basically dead to them. So let's kind of start a conversation as to why that might be. And that's all I really want to do. Smith & Wesson SD40 2.0. I've put about 5 mags through it so far. Just one on camera here today. It's been fine. Make sure you go over, check me out on Patreon. It's the only way I can continue into the new year, to continue to keep doing these videos. And make sure you know Jesus Christ, your Savior. The most important thing you can do. Ask me how you can know. And on this beautiful day that the Lord has made, as always, to God be the glory.